Thank you very much, Chairperson and General. Like I do with everyone, I want to reassure you that I have no bias. I would pose questions to you for issues of clarity. Some of my colleagues has covered a whole lot of things that I think there are clarity on it. So I will just focus on the things where I think I need clarity on. But I will treat you the same as others, other witnesses, and will take a position after the entire process is over. So let me start by saying thank you. As a patriotic South African, your rank, you as a police officer, thank you for your service. We're going to begin with a controversial issue that was raised in testimony, where General Mkwanazi testified that members of crime intelligence has advanced equipment that can access people's WhatsApps and deleted messages. The question was posed to the National Commissioner, and in his testimony, he said he can't answer, he will refer that to his divisional commissioners. While you're a deputy divisional commissioner. So I'm going to pose the question to you. And does crime intelligence have advanced equipment to access people's WhatsApps?
Chair, it will be irresponsible of me to respond to that type of a question in the sense that I will be displaying out there the capacity and of the crime intelligence and the expertise the police have. So it's something that I cannot really account or say that because remember that if I say yes or no, the criminals out there will benefit from this response. So I think I must join the National Commissioner there to say, if the Divisional Commissioner want to say it, he will say it, but I doubt if he will do it.
Should this committee take the testimony of General Mkwanazi then as fact or hearsay? Because the National Commissioner didn't deny it. He just said he's going to confirm with someone on your rank or your position. Should we consider it hearsay or fact?
At this point in time, Chair, on the issue of this type of equipment, whether they exist or not, it remains the secret of crime intelligence on how they fight crime. So it's not something I can really venture into.
Is there a possibility that such equipment does exist?
It's the same question that where we come from, Chair, that I cannot really respond to that type of a question, Chair. Out of respect as well, Chair, it's just a question that is not easy when you are a law enforcer.
There are allegations around that issue that such equipment does exist and it is an outsourced, it's outsourced equipment, and the outsourced company is a family member of a former minister. Is this allegation true?
Not that I'm aware of. I do know that there are private security companies that will have capacity over and above extra or ordinary policing, because There are powerful security companies there who some of them may be licensed, some of them may not be licensed, but they invest in technology, and some of them you'll find that they procure this equipment overseas, and you will have such a situation because the market is open.
Is that a yes?
It's a complicated one for me, Chair.
General, on security clearance, do you have security clearance?
Yes, I've got it here now.
Does General Mkwanazi have security clearance?
I heard him saying he doesn't have it.
Does those who are investigating you have security clearance?
I don't think so.
In
the Western Cape Provincial Commissioner, he doesn't have it.
In layman's terms, explain what are the implications of investigating without security clearance.
Security clearance is not a requirement for an investigation, but if you are a senior manager who comes across or who is expected to deal with top secret document, depending on the level of classification, you are expected to have a top clearance, top security clearance. Because let's say, for instance, you're a provincial commissioner. You deal with matters that some of them are classified and highly classified. I cannot imagine if there's a top secret document that comes, that must be discussed. The provincial commissioner will say, hey, this one I can't work on. I don't have a top clearance certificate. I can't even read it. It must go somewhere. It is expected that all the provincial commissioners, they must have security clearance, top secret clearance certificate.
Does General Mkwanazi access these type of top secret information without a security clearance?
Well, some of the things that he mentions, because General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanazi, some of the things that he mentioned may tell me that he does have access as well.
Just hold it, the Honorable Souls, Honorable Nwala.
Chair, I think the general, in responding to Honorable Sol, says General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanazi. I think it's a bit tricky and a bit confusing because our understanding is that General Kumalo is the head of crime intelligence. General Mkwanazi is the provincial commissioner. In terms of the line duty, I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I'm not sure. We're a bit confused by that. Maybe if
we are not, the general can clarify it.
The PKTT, I know the fact that it is, the project leader is General Kumalo. But the person who's fighting hard in this case is General Mkwanazi, who says, I was not told. And the targets were taken without my permission. Now, General Kumalo had to account to General Mkwanazi. So when it comes to the PKK, General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanazi. That is why General Mkwanazi is the one who's on his feet and fighting for this process. Hence, I'm saying he reports to him.
You want to make a follow-up?
Understood it. Is it the official reporting line duty or it's something else that is out of the ordinary?
Well, it's the official because it was done so officially. This is how it was designed, that he will report to General Kumalo. To General Mkwanazi.
Okay. The member is satisfied. Before you proceed, Honorable Souls, did I also hear you saying that the head of the Western Cape also does not have a security clearance?
Yes.
When you say the head, you mean the provincial commissioner?
The provincial commissioner.
And who else, apart from the two?
I don't know about the others.
These are the two that you know?
These ones I know because I have been involved with them, or they've been involved in my matters at least.
So the question that Honorable Souls asks you, and you respond by saying that yes, General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanas, so he may have access to this type of information. It may be happening elsewhere.
When I listen to General Mkwanazi both at the commission, judicial commission, and here in the ad hoc, he will every now and then throw in what they are busy with and that they're about to effect arrest. And he talks about things of counterintelligence. He talks about things that come from the intelligence space. He talks about things that, just like Brown Mohosi will tell you about information that belongs in the intelligence space. But General Mkwanas will tell you about something that belongs in the intelligence space himself.
Yeah. When I ask this question, General, is to establish understanding whether a provincial commissioner like the one you have in the Western Cape or elsewhere in the Republic who does not have security clearance, is it possible that such incumbents may also have access to that information without them being cleared?
Yes, they do have access without them being cleared, because there's no way as a provincial commissioner you can run a province and you don't come across documents of a top secret nature. Whether you deal with issues of parliament, whether you deal with issues of a matter, a sensitive matter that is classified as top secret, as a provincial commissioner, you will deal with such a matter. I cannot believe that the whole 5 years will go without you having seen a single document that is classified as top secret, you being the provincial commissioner. But the bottom line is that they don't have security clearance.
That is the point that I wanted you to confirm. I'm handing back to Honorable Souls to continue.
Should this be allowed, General?
Not at all.
Who is the person allowing them to do this without clearance?
I think the accounting officer is the one who should actually ensure that all people that are appointed in terms of, or as the provincial commissioners or the top structure of the police should have top clearance certificate.
Who's the accounting officer that you're referring to?
It's the national commissioner.
General Mkwanas testified that the Premier Lesufi created a crime prevention unit that was illegal. Was it illegal?
I heard him when he was testifying that, and I do know that there's a matter that was actually discussed in one of the POCs. And as far as I'm concerned, it is not illegal, because if it was illegal, I don't think the president would allow the premier to go and continue with something that is illegal, because this is crime fighting and these are enough boots on the ground. They are force multipliers. But in fact, I do know that he go in the meeting, he went to an extent of saying to the national commissioner, just say the word and I will effect arrest. And I can safely say that I raised it. The minutes are there. I did say, but you can't say you can arrest anybody there, because the bottom line is there's no way the premier can implement something that was not authorized, because it is firstly job opportunity. Secondly, they play a major role in making sure that they fill up the street. Every corner you come across them, and there's crime prevention. And when you look at the resources and the capacity they are bringing in fighting crime in the city of Joburg, you will realize that the situation has changed. especially city center where crime was rife. It was rough to go downtown to be in the city, but since their appointment, they are working and crime has reduced significantly.
General, you just said in a meeting, I heard him say, just say the word, I will effect the arrest. Which meeting? Who was in the meeting? And who is he that you are referring to that said he wants to arrest?
It was a Board of Commissioners meeting. And in that meeting, that's where he mentioned that because they were actually debating it, including legal, and legal was tasked to go and check whether are these people peace officers or not, and should they be existing or not, because the Constitution says there shall be only one police service. They were saying these people cannot be appointed because one moment you are going to have a situation now where you will have to, or you will be expected to convert them into police officials. So he was saying that these are illegally established. And then since they are illegally established, he said, just say the word, one word, I will go arrest. So when he says, just say the word, I'll go arrest, I don't know whether he was meaning he will go arrest the premier or he will go arrest all of them. But I guess the minutes of the meeting are there to say it.
Who's he?
General Mkwanazi.
So General Mkwanazi, in a meeting discussing this, says to the National Commissioner that he should just give the word and he'll go arrest.
Yes.
And what stopped, or did the arrest happen? What stopped?
No, it couldn't happen because the legal services was assigned to go and check the statute, the law, what the law says, can these people be regarded as peace officers? And I think it was ultimately done where they were sworn in as peace officers.
So there are...
Okay, Honorable Souls. May I take you, Honorable Sangwen?
Sorry, just a clarity-seeking question. General, which meeting are you referring to? And am I hearing you correctly that the KZN commissioner said he would arrest in Gauteng?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, which meeting?
It was a POC meeting, if I remember very well. But it was a meeting at the college where it was provincial commissioners and other senior officials.
Are you satisfied, Honorable Member? Thanks very much, Honorable Souls. You may proceed.
So, General, there are occasions then where General Mkwanazi asks of the National Commissioner first whether he can effect an arrest, or informs the National Commissioner before he effects an arrest.
He was not informing him before he can effect arrest. He was just saying, just say the word and I'll effect arrest.
But I'm trying to establish the type of relationship that he would say before he goes and arrest. He would inform or ask.
He would, and he should, because remember, he's from KZN, he's not from Gauteng. So whatever that he does in Gauteng, it should be with the permission and the knowledge of the National Commission.
I'm asking that because yesterday, not yesterday, when I interrogated the National Commissioner and asked this question on the search and seizure or the arrest for yourself, the National Commissioner said he didn't know about that, or that he doesn't know about arrests. So you saying that it's protocol to inform him?
Yes, to say he didn't know, we'll never buy into that.
Where was the members from who went to your house to arrest you, but ended up just seizing property?
All of them from KZN.
Who sent them?
I know it's General Mkwanazi, because people like Brigadier Kunene, the members that I was investigating this case of AKA with, they were there as well. So it's all a team from KZN,
So based
which
on
is
what,
unfortunate though.
so based on what you just told me,
General, you're saying the team that came to your house is coming from KZN.
That is correct, Chair.
May proceed, honorable source.
so General, based on what you just told me about the National Commission knowing or not knowing, are you saying with that that General Mkwanazi, as you claim, was the one who sent the members, would have told the National Commissioner of such a arrest or search and seizure?
That is correct, Chair.
Let's go into the possibility of factions within the ranks, because that's something that we have dealt with. General Mkwanazi testified that you are a baby in rank in comparison to him. What is your rank?
I'm a Deputy National Commissioner and I'm a senior to him.
What is your rank?
I'm a Lieutenant General and a Deputy National Commissioner.
What is General Mkwanazi's rank?
He's a Lieutenant General, a Provincial Commissioner.
General, in layman's terms, explain to us the protocols on how you become a Lieutenant General.
As you grow up the ranks, you become a Major General. And then you will have a cross sword and 2 stars. Then you become a Lieutenant General with 3 stars. Then you become a National Commissioner, 1 general with 4 stars. So you become a general, a Lieutenant General. All generals, major generals that are entering or stepping into the general rank are major generals, which is the lower rank of being in the general space. Then when you get promoted, you become a Lieutenant General. Then when you become promoted more, either you become a Deputy National Commissioner or the General himself, the National Commissioner. So, let's understand from this point, when General Mkwanazi was appointed as when he was appointed as the Major General, I was already a general. And then in 2 months, 3 months into his newly appointed position, he was appointed as the acting National Commissioner, which could not happen. And even when he walked into the door, the Lieutenant Generals and Deputy National Commissioner could not even stand up to salute because this is their junior. But for him to be considered and really be put in a position to can act, overnight he was then promoted to become a Lieutenant General. I guess others were saying he's a baby, but he became that Lieutenant General, and he was then able to act as a National Commissioner. He has since then become the Lieutenant General over the period of time.
In 2011, that is when this happened, right? Where he was appointed the acting National Commissioner. And you are saying that there wasn't a normal process of him going from Major General to Lieutenant General. It was merely because he was appointed acting National Commissioner, and that's how he got the rank.
Yes,
Lieutenant General.
it compelled the then president to really also overnight bring him up quickly because he could not become acting from Major General.
According to the General Mkwanazi's testimony in the Judicial Commission section, page 9, at section 15.3, he was section head in 2011. From 2025 to 2011, he was section head, Special Task Force. And then in 2011, he was component head for specialized operations for 7 months only in 2011. What is the difference between section head and component head?
A component head, you are in charge of the whole component, and the whole component will have different sections. It will have a section that deals with fleet, a section that deals with armory. I'm giving you an example. It will have a section that deals with, I don't know their structure within task force, but the section heads are under a component head. Component head is one leader who is running the whole component. In my case, I have component heads. Having component heads, serious and violent detectives, CSI, you will have organized crime, you will have commercial crime, but under commercial crime now, then you will have section head of the different roles. The one will be cybercrime section head. The one will be, let's say, section head that deals with counterfeit goods. Section head that deals with this. So the difference between section head and a component head is that component head is above a section.
So he gets this bigger position that he only stays in 7 months and then gets to become the acting national commissioner in 2011.
Yes.
So from a junior to the most senior.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Are you aware that General Masemola was the deputy provincial commissioner until 2010, and in 2010 was then transferred to Pretoria? You aware?
I am aware, not that much of his career, but I know that he was here and then as a deputy national commissioner, and then from there removed as a deputy national commissioner, made a provincial commissioner in Limpopo, and then later come back again up until when he was appointed as the national commissioner.
So a year later, General Mkwanazi becomes acting national commissioner. Do they now work at the same place? The now national commissioner and General Mkwanazi now works at the same place in 2011.
Now the national commissioner is the national commissioner of the police at head office. This is where General Mkwanazi was. But after General Mkwanazi was removed, he was replaced by General Ria Pierre. And then after General Ria Pierre, another national commissioner followed.
Okay. So now in 2012, months after General Mkwanazi is acting national commissioner in 2012, are you aware that he then gives or appoints General Masemola now as Deputy National Commissioner Operations? Are you aware of that?
Yes.
So General Mkwanazi does that before he leaves?
I think so, I'm not sure.
Is there anybody else that got promoted apart from General Masemola?
Promoted as what?
Anybody else that was appointed as acting national commissioner that General Mkwanazi appointed, or was it just that appointment of General Masemola?
No, since General Masemola was appointed as a national commissioner, he's still a national commissioner.
No, when General Mkwanazi was the acting, he appointed General Masamula as the Deputy National Commissioner for Operations. Is there any other people during that time that General Mkwanazi appointed into positions except for General Masamula?
I'm not so sure, Chair. I'm gonna make mistakes in that because I was not part of that.
Then in 2018, of course, General Mkwanazi becomes acting provincial commissioner, and in April 2021, he becomes full provincial commissioner of KZN. 2022, General Masamula becomes the national commissioner in 2022. And then in the same year, are you aware that he then appoints General Kumalo in 2022 as the divisional head for crime intelligence?
Yes.
Please state for the record.
Yes, I'm quite aware that the General Kumalo was appointed as the divisional commissioner somewhere around about 2022. I don't have his CV and I may not be accurate.
So, General, as a trained investigator, would you say this is a pattern of friends promoting each other?
That is not for me really to say at this point in time, Chair.
You testified earlier that there are cliques and it creates an unhealthy working environment. Who are you referring to when you say there are cliques?
Personally, at this point in time, when I'm facing, I'm sure the whole world can see that I'm faced with a situation where it is General Kumalo, General Masemola, General Patekile, and General Kumalo. I'm in a situation now and overwhelmed by a lot of processes at the same time with a view to push me out. So you will see that General Mkwanazi, in fact, for me to have been removed, it was just planned that General Mkwanazi will go make a press conference, and then out of that press conference, I'll be calling him and I'll be suspending him. And then I get suspended, and after I get suspended, then General Patekile comes, he clears General Kumalo from the investigations that they were arrested for, and then from the, in my case, General Kumalo conduct a short investigation and then recommend that I be charged, and then from there, I expect anything in this case that will happen. But the bottom line is there is a clear focus by a group of people that are focusing on making sure that I am out of the system.
General Mkwanazi testified that the docket was taken, and I know you already testified on that, that's why I don't want to go in detail with it. But then when it was discovered that the dockets does not contain anything about Gauteng, and then the dockets was sent back, and then General Kumalo was targeted because of interference to stop the arrests in Gauteng, and they place you at the center of that. Are you interfering, General, with investigations and arrests in Gauteng?
I wish you can tell me where have I interfered. Whether it spoke about Katiso Molefe, what was my role, where did I interfere? Whether it talks about Ket Matlala, where did I interfere? Whether it talks about Mr. Swart, what did I do, where did I interfere? Because I've never been involved in all of those things. Other than when we talk, let's say for an example, the kidnapping story. I've always been the one talking about the kidnapping of Mr. Jerubo Shua. I spoke about it even in the police summit. I spoke about it even with the when we were with the DPCI experts, the people that know how to investigate the electronics. I spoke even, I called all the teams together, even as we speak. I know General Mkwanazi did make mention of the fact that the mother of Jerry Boshoga contacted him, but I can also say that I was contacted by the brother-in-law of Jerry Boshoga, who came, who's the brother to the wife of Jerry Boshoga, who came to me, and he works for the presidency. He came to my office and said, please, General, assist. I called all the experts. Even today, the family is happy with this investigation in terms of the progress. I do have a progress report in terms of this thing, because the team that is there, that is investigating, they are doing everything in their power, and they are working with the family. They are taking the family into confidence. Every piece of feedback is given to the family. So I just want to indicate to South Africans that even this thing of Jerry Boshoga, I try my best to contribute, leading towards my retirement, to work hard. I cannot spend 37 years in the police to only to come and mess up my career towards 2 years later at the door out, and then I mess everything up. I can't do that, but thanks a lot, Chair.
I have 2 more questions, Chair. General, you said that the PKTT is doing a good job, but they can do better. Please explain what you mean by a good job that they are doing and what you mean by they can do better.
When I'm sitting with the 121 doggers that I'm sitting with now, that shows that doggers that had been sitting gathering dust for almost since 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2023, 80% of those doggers. It tells me that no work was done. They can do better. That's number one. Number two, if they were saying to me that these political killings that are taking place in the country, in the whole country, they are hard at work and they are arresting all these people throughout the country, but that is not the case. That is why it's called a KZN team. Otherwise, it's not supposed to be a KZN team. If there's a political killing task team, let it be a national task team, and it shouldn't be managed from KZN. If it is to manage for the whole country, rather appoint and put it in the system, whether you're making the unit or what, but let it be a proper unit that is in the structure and that is taking care of the political killings throughout the country, so that the whole country benefit, not fighting that there's a PKTT in KZN. Every now and then we apply for budget, millions to go down there that are being managed down there by General Mkwanazi and General Khumalo. That is an unacceptable situation.
Is the top structure of the South African Police Service divided?
In my case, I will say, because of the fact that I know the feeling about me, I can't sit here and defend the management and say they are not divided. Here am I find myself outside. Here am I find myself resources of the state being used against me. And here am I find myself overwhelmed by many processes at the same time that takes money away from me, and the security of my family also compromised.
General, as I close, those divisions, it's not just costing you, it's costing 65 million South Africans. It is putting us at risk, and we all depend on you to keep us safe. We have questions about where is Jocelyn, Nathaniel, Julius, and many other cases. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I hope that, as you said, you are divided. I put it to you. the core reason why crime is at the level that it is, apart from what we are investigating now, but at the core, it's because you guys at the head is divided. If you're going to fix anything, fix that for the sake of South Africans. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sols. Thank you, General Sibiya. Honorable Vessels, are you ready?
I am. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, General.
Evening.
Let me start where you left off just now. And throughout the proceedings, you've identified certain issues that you have with the PKTT. Certain challenges, exorbitant costs, inefficiencies, wrongdoing, even corruption. Are those concerns new? Or did you have those concerns prior to the 31st of December 2024?
They have been there, but they needed an approach to be able to address, because this is a closed space.
Did you ever voice those concerns prior to the 31st of December?
I haven't really voiced them out in a sense of the way they're saying, but why is this thing happening? Why is this happening? But from where we are sitting, each time you get a complaint from forensics that says, General, can I have my two forensic experts back, because we need them in the forensic space. Otherwise, if they are not in the forensic space, it's a very serious problem, because it compromises our information. It compromises the independence. And if you are to go and testify, and then those members that are with them, the credibility of the investigation cannot be trusted should they get a powerful defense counsel. So the component that will come and say, no, if we are a forensic and science laboratory, our results must be trusted in such a way that when they say exhibits were taken, sealed, maintain continuity chain of possession up until they were handed in. And this is the process that has been followed to examine those. And then this is how we did it, expert evidence, and then process. The system is loaded, and then the response is there. So you must have a legitimate process that is running, rather than having a situation where you've got a team that has got everyone in place. In other words, whatever that we do, if we tell you that, no, we want this result to be positive, then you can come up with a plan that will cause this result to be positive.
But you never voiced that to the minister.
No.
Let's move on. Is it fair to say that on your version, there's a pattern that wherever you are employed, you fall victim to conspiracies to get rid of you, to discredit you? Would you say that's fair?
My job is to investigate, and so I don't expect anybody to love me. I investigate, and I investigate hard. And then when you can see, you can go to the city of Joburg, and then they will tell you that I uncovered over 45 billion. And when I investigate, I got there, and then they were less than 17, and when I left there, they were more than 84 staff complements. And we employed experts from the police, from organized crime, people that I work with in organized crime, who are working on the hijacked properties, who are working from state security. I bring a lot of expertise. I even employ the prosecutors from prosecution and say, as we investigate, before a case go to court, look at this case, satisfy yourself that it satisfies all the elements of case. Are we ready to go to court? And if it's in court, fight for this case in court so that we don't lose it. So when I work hard and I investigate hard in such a way that I'm not surprised. Whatever that I do, I push. So I understand where the honorable members coming from and say, don't you think you are the naughty one? Because there's a pattern that we see here. In the city of Joburg, they were complaining about you. Now here in the police, they are complaining about you. But before I left, I was working hard still. That's why they gave me the Richard Mdluli matter that I ended up also arresting.
But why now? I understand the Hawks, when you were there, I understand, and you explained that yesterday, I understand City of Johannesburg, as you now said. But why now, as Deputy National Commissioner, would there be such a conspiracy against you?
Now it's a very serious and it's a worrying situation because I know I've applied for the position of the Hawks. And instead I was looking forward to going to participate in the interviews. And unfortunately for me, then it happens that General Khumalo got arrested. And for some reasons, it was like I'm involved or I know what led to call the National Commission and say, NASCOM, I know nothing about this. And even said, no, I understand that you are not involved. You could not have been involved because employing someone there is what they did among themselves. You are not involved. But as far as I'm concerned, somebody said to the National Commissioner, I want his job. I had to, my bishop, Bishop Mukambule, he said, you will need to assure him that you are not really after his job. Assure him. And I wrote the National Commissioner a long message and he responded. Now, here's someone who said to the National Commissioner, Sibiya is lobbying for your position. I've never lobbied anybody that I want to become the National Commissioner. Secondly, I applied for the position of the Hawks. I am the longest serving member in the Hawks. All the provincial heads of the Hawks, all of them, in fact, worked under me. So I worked with General Lebeya, General Dramat. I started with the Scorpions and all of them, I've worked with them. So I'm just saying, I was the one looking forward to, but unfortunately they had to make sure that it doesn't happen by smearing my name, pulling my name apart on social media and suspending me, loading me with criminal cases. This is the situation in which I find myself at this point in time.
When Brown Mogotsi phoned you and warned you that there's people that's doing this to you, that's trying to get rid of you, was that after you already applied for the position at the Hawks?
No, the discussion around the possibility of the position of the Hawks becoming vacant started long before the advert. The advert was on the 21st of February, but the discussions, when it became clear that General Lebeya will be retiring somewhere around May, the media started asking questions. They will just throw a question in the middle of an interview, whatever interview, whether it's about extortions or whether it's about anything that you are there to, are we becoming a mafia state or whatever, then those interviews that you attended, then from the General Sibiya, okay, General Lebeya will be leaving, what is next? Where do you see yourself next? Are you going to apply for the position? Yes, I'm going to apply for the position. Then the next thing you see the headline, General Sibiya has thrown his head into the ring. And then the next thing, so it goes. And as it goes, there are those that are determined to make sure that you will not get there. And that is why I'm facing the situation, overwhelming situation that is saying he will not get there. And they're doing everything in their power to push me out.
Yeah, but when Mogotsi warned you, this did not happen. So there was another reason why people were after you, were conspiring, were involved in this conspiracy and discreditation. But let me ask you, when he warned you, did he tell you who the people are that's after you?
He said it's crime intelligence.
Okay.
And even when I got to be released, fired the first time, it was crime intelligence. Even now, the challenges that I'm facing is crime intelligence.
He said to you that you're being followed, that they're listening in. Did you tell the National Commissioner this?
I did, because I remember one morning I went to him and I said, NASCOM, they said I shouldn't go to work because I'm going to be arrested. But I can't hide, I'm here. What did I do? And he said, he denied it. He said, no, I know nothing. I will sit with the National Commissioner and he will leave me in a meeting and say, continue with the meeting, continue chairing this meeting. And when I knock off, I will hear that, hey, the National Commissioner was, and Kumalo, they were here going to apply for the warrant of your arrest. I said, how? I was with the National Commissioner in the meeting. He left me to continue with the meeting. And the next thing I got to hear that he was here applying for the warrant of arrest. People have been to Mpumalanga to almost every day, to an extent that they've been always going to also Mr. Matala saying that just give us Sibiya. Give us Sibiya, will even withdraw your case that you have been arrested for of this Ms. Tobejani. Now I'm told that they are using my colleagues. They are using my colleagues to see if they can get some witnesses there. I do know about those things. They get to me. But what I want to say is that I will wait for my time to take the fight, maybe to outside the police. But it is so unfortunate that I wish it did not happen, and it could not happen because one is just left with 2 years basically to exit.
Just hold it there, Honorable Vessels. General, you say that Mr. Mogotsi told you that the people behind you are crime intelligence, and that even the difficulties that you currently face is crime intelligence. So are you saying that the things that he told you are now happening?
That is correct. That is correct.
You may proceed, Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Chairperson. If I can take you to paragraph 78 of your statement. And I just want, the question has been asked today a lot about the January 8. But in your statement, you say that you were in Cape Town around January for the January 8 Gala dinner event. In your testimony yesterday and today, you referred to operations that you did for this event. Can I just get clarity? Did you attend the Gala dinner event?
No. As the South African Police Service, all major events, we always make sure that we are there and we put all security measures in place. We are led by the NAT joint, and the NAT joint, which is chaired by another Lieutenant General, Deputy National Commissioner Musikidi, but it is the one that leads these operations. So we get deployed. So we come here just to make sure that the environment is safe, and no crime is committed, and that everything will go well. So we are here on official capacity, not to the Gala dinner. I've never been to the Gala dinner as well.
So it's just an oversight in the statement to only reflect on the Gala dinner event and not on the stadium event, because even though it doesn't really make sense, but that makes more sense than the Gala dinner.
No, I've never said or spoken about the Gala dinner. I've never been to the Gala dinner.
Okay. Then the rest of that paragraph, you reflect that you met Mogotsi a month before your consultation with the evidence leaders. That's after 6 July, obviously, and it's after the allegations made by General Mkhonazi that links you to Mogotsi. You then say that he came to where you were, greeted, and he left. Are you saying that you didn't at all have a discussion about the allegations that are being made?
No, he came and he was greeting, and then from there he left. I was busy with the lawyers. There was no time to really spend time with him and chat, because the lawyers who were preparing the documents for I think it was my disciplinary in court. But to me, there was nothing wrong in just greeting.
I understand that, General, but there's these serious allegations linking you to him, an undue influence and so forth. You said that why you keep the lines of communication open with him is to gather information from him. Here you have an opportunity, an encounter with him. There's allegations made, it's in the public realm, but you don't utilize the opportunity to ask him what his version is.
What I can say, Chair, is that not that it didn't click my mind and say, but why don't you stop talking to this person, because already there are allegations about me. But you also have a situation where you say, but anyway, I've been talking to this person, and why avoid this person at this point in time? Because if this person gives me information that I think will help me at some point, let me remain with the line open than anything else.
Did you ever talk to him about the BKTT?
No.
Did you ever talk to him about or did he talk to you about the search and access and seizure that took place at Kat Mklala's residence?
No.
Okay. Do you know Edwin Sodi?
Yes.
Have you met him?
Yes.
What's your relationship with him?
I know him as a businessman, and I know him as a businessman remember when you operate in Sandton, Sandton is not big. You will know people who have complained to you. At some point, he complained to our office. Remember, he was going through some time where he opened a case, his watches were taken, there was a break-in at his house. So that's how I got to know him.
Can you recall when last you had communication with him?
I don't recall when it was there, when it was, yes.
You've testified on that you received a call from General Mkunazi on the 4th of July inquiring if you are going to be in Durban that weekend of the 5th. Just remind us, why were you in Durban on the 5th of July?
I was attending an event.
That event is the Durban July?
Yes.
On whose invitation did you attend the Durban July?
On invitation by the race course.
Travel and accommodation?
I paid.
Have you ever received any gifts from Brown Mogotsi?
No.
Has he ever paid for anything that you've benefited from?
No.
Lunch, dinner, breakfast?
No.
You said you met him the first time when you were here with January 8th that we reflected on now at the Southern Sun Hotel, but later you also spoke about Camps Bay. Which one is it?
I heard that at some point, I don't know whether it is in the messages where they say he was talking to someone saying General Sibiya is at Camps Bay. When Brown Mogotsi was in Cape Town, he met me once at breakfast time when I was eating breakfast. He came to where I was, and from there, nothing. In Camps Bay, it was myself and the two protectors. One is the guy that I came up with from Gauteng, and one was a colleague from here in Western Cape. We went to eat there.
Ever received any gifts from Kat McClellan?
Not at all.
He ever pay for anything?
Not at all.
Let me conclude. General, thank you. One last question. If you say the motive that is put forward for why the political task team, why there was this urgency to disband the political killings task team, you know that version. You deny, you refute that version. You say that that's not true. But why do you think there's this concerted effort to then, by the National Commissioner, by General Mkhwanazi, to put forward this version that everything is linked to criminal syndicates? What is the motive to do that?
I think it is very wrong to really try to assign this thing to, or to link it to a criminal syndicate, because even when this thing started, it never had anything to do with criminal syndicate. But I think someone found a reason to say, but how can we link this thing to this criminal syndicate to look like, oh, that is a motive why this thing is happening. But I can safely tell you that it has got nothing to do with any criminal syndicate. Because if there is any criminal syndicate, people must be arrested. All I know is that unless we knew, when Professor Meridi has received that complaint at that time, the correspondence that came all along in relation to the same political killing, leading to the correspondence that was signed by the CFO, say this must be closed, leading to all the presentations before Parliament, where even General Khumalo himself was presenting and saying, this has achieved its purpose and it can be used for benchmarking, and that is going to now be taken to murder and robbery unit. Work study investigations conducted that says task teams are a waste of money. They work in silos. They are uncontrolled and they last for too long, and people leave the dockets unattended. So there's a whole lot of chain of arrangements that were made, put in place to dissolve that all the task teams and to replace them with specialized units, so that we can capacitate the specialized unit and make them as prolific as possible in such a way that we will be able to fight crime at any level in each and every province, not only in KZN.
But in your opinion, what would the motivation be to say the contrary, to say that the political killings task team should remain?
Can you please repeat the question?
What's the motivation, according to you, of someone like General Mkhwanazi to say that the political killings task team must remain, must not be winded down?
I want to say, I want to strongly believe that the budget that goes with it is the one that is a cause for concern or a problem for General Mkhwanazi. Because let's say you want to remain and continue with the political killing team. Take the whole team and put it into a murder and robbery unit and let them continue working as normal as possible, without you having to apply for 94 million or 74 million budget. Let them, remember they're earning salary every day. Take them as they are, put them under make them a murder and robbery unit, and then continue fighting crime the same way you've been fighting crime. Take the other money, put the resources into fighting gangsterism and drugs in the gang-infested areas. Now, for an example, there was a move to establish the political killing task team in Gauteng. Take for the past 3 years, how many political killings did we have in Gauteng? Maybe one. in Gauteng. They scrambled around to try and find one they can, for you to be able to make a number and say, we have this matter, with this matter, with this matter, with that matter, we don't have. Why establish a political killing system in Gauteng when you don't have such? Why don't you rather than make sure that you beef up when it comes to gangsterism? You occupy Westbury and El Dorado and all those locations, or you deal with your drugs, your firearms.
Is there a possibility that there's a distrust of you, your division, which is in control of crime detection, with all the investigators falling under you, all the detectives, that this unit must be protected because you don't actually interfere there? And we've seen that in your core bundle, that when you talk to units and provinces about dockets, you don't include the political killings task team. And we've established that last night. So don't you think with these members that are then used to send to Katlala, for instance, to do that operation, to get a successful arrest, that's the reason why this unit is protected, because there's a fear that you would interfere if it's part of murder and robbery, and that you'll interfere in those type of ongoing investigations?
It's very upset that that is the situation, because I have sent a team in Richards Bay and Imanguzi, because the locals said they say they don't trust the locals. I've sent the team to Lusikisiki or to Umtata, where we're going to intervene because they don't trust the locals there. I've sent the team to Doranginza, where they say there is a group of ex-criminals that form a forum there. Before you open a case, you must go and report to them, and they will give you permission to go, for you to go and open a case. I have intervened in all those respective areas. So the fact that there's a team that come from KZN to say they are coming here to intervene in a case here, you leave KZN on autopilot, you spend your time here saying you are fighting organized crime. There's organized crime everywhere, including where you coming from in KZN. You're living a lot there. All the hitmen are coming from KZN. You're leaving them there. You're trying to come and fight something here in Gauteng. It's the same. So crime is crime everywhere.
Thank you. One last question, General. You said that you did not send that WhatsApp message to the Deputy Minister, and you specifically referred to the fact that you'd never use language like comrade and so forth. But the content of the message that reflects on supply chain management procedures that were not followed at Crime Intelligence to procure spy equipment of 13 million rand. Did you know of that supply chain management situation? Did you bring it to the attention of a Deputy Minister or anybody else?
I don't know about the information. If ever it's an information that I sent, it should be the information that I shall have forwarded, not an information that I type, because I don't use the language that says comrade or Kada or comrade Matewula. I don't know that person.
But did you know about the 13 million rand?
No, that I don't remember that.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Vessels, thank you so much. And once again, General, thank you. We have aimed to take 2 more speakers before we break, and by all indications, we are going to take one. Honorable James.
Thank you so much, G. General, do you think you've reached your expiry date with INSAPS?
It's a painful statement, Honorable James.
It's a question.
What is the question, Honorable James?
Do you think you've reached your expiry date with all the toxicity within SAPS within this department?
You are asking the witness.
Yes.
May you please rephrase it?
Excuse me, Chair?
Rephrase it.
Do you think with everything that is currently happening within the environment that you are meant to serve and protect, you have reached, you said you are overwhelmed with everything that is going on?
I'm overwhelmed, but I still believe that I have a contribution to make still. And then given an opportunity by the people of South Africa and the leadership of the country, given an opportunity, I still have time.
Okay. General, yesterday, another shocking revelation was made when you said that over 6,000 dockets within SAPS has gone missing. 6,000 dockets of murder, 6,000 dockets of rape has just gone missing. It's vanished. Of those 6,000 dockets, what percentage of those dockets do we have people, inmates right now? It is costing South Africans 463 Rand per day. You mentioned yesterday that those cases, those people are going to court and back, and they don't know where the dockets are. And this is why I asked, do you think you've reached your expiry date? Can you elaborate on what you told us yesterday with regards to dockets just being missing?
Honorable James, honestly speaking, I wouldn't say they are just missing. I'm saying as the head of detectives, I have a system that is still open. Dockets are not closed. It is my job to trace those dockets where they are so that the system can be updated. I never said dockets are missing, they are gone, nobody knows where they are. But in what I was trying to demonstrate here was that it shouldn't be that when I said I want to know where the cold cases are so that I can account for them, then the National Commissioner will say, I wanted the cold case murders because of the Senzo Meiwa case, which is unfortunate. But I have cases that are at IPIT, I have cases that are at DPCI, I have cases that are at ORS, and those cases remain open in the system. I don't say they are missing, they are open in the system. Now, my job is to say, bring all those cases, let us update the system, and let us make sure that the system is updated and the performance of the detectives will improve. Whilst on the other hand, I'm recommending that let the DPCI have their own SAP S6 so that they can be audited on their own and account for their own dockets. Let us have IPIT having its own SAP 6 so that it can also account for its own workload. That is what I was meaning, Honorable Member.
General, you clearly said yesterday that the dockets are unaccounted for, and this is why we have cases being remanded repeatedly. That is what you said, but I'm going to accept your response for now. General, what is your definition of an activist?
An activist is a person who is actually an activist is a person who's I'm looking for the right English word, Chair, who is actually no, it's not a difficult word. It's just this word that is disappearing in my mind. But an activist is a person who is actually not lobbying, but standing for a particular rights and then
Championing.
Yeah, maybe it's the right word, championing for a particular, it can be an activist to fight for the drugs, or it can be for the politics, for politicians, or for whatever maybe
environment
movement you want to support.
General, you said you described Mr. Brown Mogotsi as an activist. What is the cause that he stands for?
He's a politician there in Mahike.
A politician for which party?
I think it's the African National Congress.
General, you said that you Googled him despite having access and capacity to properly profile him. Why would you take to Google and not profile him?
I just Googled him to want to know who's this Brown Mokhosi, and I listened to one of his videos. I didn't profile him.
So someone comes to you and tells you that there's a plot against you, you don't profile him as being the head of crime intelligence, you just Google him.
Yeah, just check who it is, and then from there.
So your evidence is that you accepted several calls and correspondence from Brown Mokhosi, each time receiving further information from him without once verifying who he was or identifying where his information originated from.
Can you please repeat, Honorable Member?
In your testimony, General, you said that you know him maybe 5 times less, but you also said that you have accepted several calls and correspondence from Brown Mokhosi, each time receiving further information from him without once verifying who he really was or identifying where his information originated from.
Oh, I mean, I saw the man is from Northwest, and this is the man that is also on TV. I didn't need to profile him.
Okay, I put it to you that this leaves us with 2 possibilities. Either you were negligent in your duties, or your relationship with Mr. Mokhosi went far beyond what you are telling this committee today. Because you said to us maybe 5 times less. So which is it? Were you negligent, or do you actually have a relationship with Mr. Mokhosi?
If you remember very well, committee members, I said I met Brown twice.
General, you also state that you were here for and I know my colleagues has asked this, what was the risk grading for the January 8th event in the Western Cape? What was the risk grading as per JOC?
It's something that I may not respond accurately, but it was obviously high. So the risk grading, I don't deal with the risk grading, but all I know is that it's a major event, and it being a major event, it warrants that the NAJON should take charge of this type of environment, and that is what happened.
Okay, if you are here to ensure that everything's going off smoothly in terms of compliance and safety, surely you should have access to the JOC file.
No, I have access to the JOC. I'm part of them. I am part as the JOC. We sit at the JOC and we monitor the situation.
But you don't know what the risk grading was, because the risk grading will warrant who needs to be there in terms of safety. What I'm trying to get to is the fact that the entire executive, all the senior members within SAPS converged upon the Western Cape during that time, something that is unheard of for any other political party. And you said that this is done for all major events. You said that the same is done. I'm not sure if you said that. Has this ever been done for EFF, DA, MK, or even Action SA? And you also say that it's not the first time that you do this.
Chair, I think that's a political statement that must be attended to. It can be answered by the National Commissioner, perhaps not me.
Okay, that is accepted.
You are not going to answer that?
No, I think it's a political statement. I don't want to.
You could tell us, this committee, that you do it every year annually. You all show up because it's a very important event. Now that I pose a question to you, you say you are unable to answer.
I don't say I'm unable to answer per se, but I feel that it's a political statement, because I've had situations where I know that there's deployment made even in all the stadiums, because the police are expected to participate in all the stadiums where there are major event of political parties, just to make sure that there's proper control and proper systems put in place, even in terms of traffic, directing traffic in such a way that there's not going to be stampede. Even at the stadium, the normal soccer stadium, you will have such deployments as well.
No, General, the traffic is a responsibility of JMPD as per the JOC application. Everyone has a role to play,
They are
not
part-
SAPS.
No, they are part of the SAPS deployment.
General, you mentioned yesterday, today again, you mentioned Eldorado Park, Westbury, Cape Flats, what is unfolding. You actually said that, you know what, the same resources that was allocated to PKTT could be deployed to these communities. What have you done since you have recognized that this communities deserves better, they deserve a NAT joint operation? What have you done in your personal capacity when you've received all of these videos? What operation did you propose? What presentation did you make to sort of launch an operation in any of these communities? Since you mentioned it.
We've employed a brigadier that is dealing with gangsterism at head office to make sure that they put a team together to attend to this. And I personally have been there with some of the senior managers, and then we have ensured that there are people that are arrested, and many people have been arrested as well in relation to what was happening in those areas. But I still believe that more could be done.
I'm asking if you've put through any presentation or made any recommendations for an operation such as PKTT, because you kept on referencing these communities. And it's almost like you wanted to say there's no use for PKTT. You can much rather have a similar operation like this in the Western Cape or in one of these hard-hit communities. So I'm saying, since you have said that, we know a lot has been done, a lot of nothing has been done, but I'm asking you, since you have recognized the fact that there's an issue here, have you made any presentations or recommendations to the National Commissioner saying this is what we can do in these areas?
There is a discussion that I had with the National Commissioner in order to deploy in the gang-infested areas. And that presentation, that discussion with the National Commissioner, it was on the 28th of January. We did have such a presentation where we were agreeing that we need to deploy in areas like Bembe, like Eldorado Park, Westbury, Cape Town, but we did have such a discussion with the National Commissioner because this is something that was discussed.
General, you say that you've gone through those dockets that you had no business fetching because it wasn't as per national instruction when it comes to inspection of dockets, because usually, as we know, when we have these special operations, you usually go to the station within the province, as per my experience with the many operations that we've had in Eldorado Park. And if you want to conduct sort of and do oversight and inspection at the dockets, you send an instruction to the provincial commissioner as well as the station, and all those dockets then get brought forward, and then they go out there and they inspect those dockets there. So I'm not sure why the dockets had to be moved. But anyway, I also want to ask, am I correct in saying that when one studies the relevant statistics relating to the work of the PKTT, it appears that its efforts were in fact guided by the need to address a certain political party's internal factional battles in KZN that has led to recruiting murders? It was a political party, it was infighting, because if I look at all the many murders and the case dockets and the types who are from which political party, I can only pick up one political party, maybe two. Out of all of those political killings, it is only members, mainly of one political party. Am I correct?
No, Councillor.
I'm not a councillor, sir.
My apology. It's just because I'm used to that part, but
I was never a councillor.
Honorable Member,
Thank you.
I apologize.
The apology is accepted. General, just a moment, Honorable James, may we please take Honorable Ngola?
No, Chair, thanks. Just to remind the ATOP that there is evidence under oath from the main witness that has confirmed the political demographics in terms of the many political parties affected. Two, Chair, I don't think also it's quite relevant to the terms of reference to always want to be partisan in our approach. Thank you very much. It's a sensitive security matter that we need to be very careful about. Thank you very much, Chair.
Oh, okay. Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. We must not have the record with incorrect information. Chair, the main witness was very clear that the majority of cases related to political killings are related to the African National Congress. And he was very, very clear about that. So we're not going to mislead here. He mentioned that there was maybe one or two from other political parties, but the majority, he was very clear. It was even your ANC minister, President Cyril Ramaphosa, who instigated the setup of, or the establishment of the political killings task force to deal with ANC leadership battles, because you can't deal with it your own. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Ngola.
Chair, that's extremely misleading. The main witness made mention further of saying both, particularly the EFF and the AFP, are affected, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal. It's on record, Chair. We can go to the record and look at it. This 1 or 2 is actually not true. But beyond that, Chair, I think let's just avoid to be too much partisan about it, to contaminate a sensitive national security matter with unnecessary politics. Thank you very much, Chair.
Chief Whip.
No, Chair, thanks. I think Honorable Ngola has dealt to this matter. The part that I'm very much concerned about is when Honorable Matthys says it is because that political party was failing to handle its own internal dynamics. Now, I have a problem with that, because none of the witnesses who have come before this committee or the Commission of Inquiry have provided evidence to the fact that the ANC leaders or councillors and councillors who were murdered were equally murdered by ANC members. Now, to suggest that it's an internal battle within a party which results, I would imagine from the logic of that statement, members of that party killing one another, I think it's overstretching the evidence that was presented before us. And that is an area which I think is completely out of order. Thanks.
Okay. I want us to stop debating this matter, because we are still going to have our own time after evidence has been gathered. But just to bring it to your attention that all of you who are in this committee, you are members of parliament and you represent South Africans. You know, when a family loses a member, there is nobody who dies a death of a political party. Death does not have a brand. You can't brand it and say, this one has died a death of the ANC, or this one has died a death of the IFP or any other party that you may want to label it. And I just want to request honorable members that let's be very sensitive with the manner in which we debate, because families have lost their loved ones, and the least they can expect from you as their leadership is your sensitivity and commiserations. You may proceed, Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. General, to date, what is the total expenditure of the PKTT?
Honorable, in Parliament in March, it was known to be 415 million. But then there was a further 20 million that was approved, which would then maybe take it to 435 million. But I do know that there was more, something like 94 million or 74 million that was also requested for approval. So basically it's almost nearing 500 million.
Thank you. General, yesterday you mentioned that there were many cases opened up against the team, the PKTT team, in terms of breaking down doors. While they were investigating these cases, do drug dealers knock and ask if they may enter? Because when it comes to addressing certain crime, in my experience, that the approach of scope and donor sometimes is needed. Do you agree or disagree with me?
That approach, it depends on the team that is actually running the operation, and depending on the challenge and the nature of the danger situation they are faced with, Chair.
You mentioned that this team was investigating cases relating to drugs, to murder, to heists. Does that not warrant this type of approach?
Yeah, but it is not every scene that must be approached same way, because sometimes you find that you are in an environment that really needs to be approached very carefully, decently. But sometimes where there are children as well in the house and it doesn't pose any risk or threat. But there are instances where you find that this environment, the intelligence that we have is that there's a group of criminals there and they are armed. The approach will be different.
I'd like to ask you about the allegations that well-known artists such as DJs have been linked to the underworld, particularly in relation to the peddling of drugs on behalf of cartels in nightclubs. Could you enlighten the committee on whether these allegations have any credibility?
There's always reports that are provided by crime intelligence. And then that information is information based on the fact that it is information that is maybe in the pipeline that is being investigated, and they've got evidence or a certain evidence to a certain extent. You will have, there are drugs in the country. There are drugs everywhere in the country, especially in the city of Joburg, in KZN, in Eastern Cape, there are drugs. So I can't say information that lacks credibility when it talks about drugs and firearms. When I don't have anything against that, I can say there's credibility or not.
Okay, General, moving quickly. Counterintelligence operation in Gauteng. How many cases do they have? And what are the case types?
Let me see if this information I will have in my pack. Chair, there's a document that I'm looking for. There's a document to improve performance of the detectives. It was approved. Document in front of me, Honorable James, just to ask specifically what the question was. I've got national components, counterintelligence. Chair. I don't know whether at this present moment, it's a document that I have, Honorable James, that I can give to you now to show you in terms of the response, but I'm not sure whether it's information that I should give out in public because we're talking counterintelligence now. Chair, I need assistance here. Here's the information that Honorable James is asking, but since it also mentioned counterintelligence, I might also be accused of discussing intelligence information in a platform that is not supposed to be, but I'm prepared to show the honorable members so that she gets the response.
What do you choose to do with that kind of information?
I can show her the answer.
You can show her.
Answer.
Okay.
Can I just?
I'll have a look at it later. I think that was more.
Okay, you can show her when we were about to break. Yeah.
I think that question, Chair, was important for us because that is the operation that has since identified the top 5 in our country, alleged top 5 that is embroiled in drug cartels, where 2 has been identified and there's still 3 missing faces. Am I correct?
No. No. You're not correct there.
So the identification of the top 5, where does that come from?
This is information that has come from.
Sorry, General, can you maybe speak into the mic?
This is information that comes from crime intelligence, but I also have information that was compiled by crime intelligence that does not have those top 5 that that is being spoken about. So it's the top 5. There's nowhere where they appear.
So the top 5 that we've been told, South Africans has been told about, is not the top 5 that is running the drug cartels in our country. And that is connected with political heads and infiltrated the various state departments.
The document that I have that was crafted by crime intelligence doesn't have that.
What is the composition of the counterintelligence operation? You know, when we have operations, obviously it composes of NatWins. The composition of this counterintelligence, who serves on there?
It's a member of intelligence who works at the intelligence section, but conducting counterintelligence investigations.
Is that all, sir? General?
Is that?
Is that all?
Yes.
So the members are only from within SAP. So when one does intelligence, you haven't roped in NPA and you haven't roped in all the other role players that usually serves on an operation of this nature.
Counterintelligence is not necessarily a multidisciplinary structure. This is intelligence, and you may find that they work with NPA. For them, remember, it is their investigation. So if they have a prosecutor who deals with them, who works with them, they will consult with such a prosecutor so that he gives guidance to their investigation.
So prosecutor NPA is part of the team then?
It's possible.
Does this team fall within your section?
Used to. but not now, not anymore.
Why not, sir?
Because now crime intelligence reports to the National Commission, no longer to NASA.
Okay. My final question. General, my second last question. General, you also mentioned that you're not aware of any political interference within SAPS, but you responded to a question when you said you waited with bated breath to find out who's the new minister, because usually when ministers come in, you could possibly lose your job. Is that not political interference? Not.
Not.
Okay. Yes or no, you attempted to obscure the obvious reality that there are factions within senior management of South African Police Service. Given that there are no holy cows, is it not possible that some of these internal cabals are working in collaboration with drug cartels?
I really can't sit here, National Chair, and say it's not possible or it can't be. Up until it is tested, someone being arrested, connected to the crime, then they must be arrested.
In closing, General, General Kwanaze told us, I'm not sure if you heard, that there's only one scanner. One scanner, 3,000 containers pass through. We are not able to detect if children are in those containers. We are not able to detect if there's drugs in those containers. Is it true? How many scanners do we have at our ports of entry? And also, how many private landing strips do we have in our country?
It's a dangerous statement to make in relation to the fact that whether we have one scanner or how many scanners, because we cannot really go out there and tell the public that we are ailing and we don't have this, we don't have this capacity, we don't have this expertise. And there's no way that the public should know our strength. So as to whether it is 1 or 2 or 3 or 10, I don't know. But the landing strips, we have too many landing strips in the country. It's many. There are private landing strips as well that are really, I don't know whether I should say more than 1,000 or more than 500. I forgot the number, but I do know that there are just too many landing strips. Some of them are private, of course, they are not known.
Thank you, General. I ask these questions in the interest of South Africans so that they can feel secure, but I'm not sure why you're not able to answer.
I was gonna bring that type of information if I knew that such a question in relation to the landing strips can come up.